It all starts with a no-obligation, free consultation.
Eigenlijk geven we onze kinderen best vaak suiker op brood.
ActionAid helpt vrouwen in meer dan 45 landen om op te komen voor hun rechten.
Haven't seen you around here before, big boy.
I'm new around here and don't know much.
You look quite bright to me.
Actually, I'm unusually dense.
Hey, you looking for a bond?
Only if the chemistry's right.
Welcome, Gold. Where do we start?
By telling me the name of that atom with the blonde Bond shell.
Well, that's Chlorine, Queen of the Bleach. She's poison. You don't want to know her.
Hello, everyone. Welcome to today's episode. We have Machteld Van de Gaag on the episode this week. She is a European trilingual voiceover artist, and we are going to explore the voiceover industry, the ins and the outs, working in home studios, in studios around the country, and in and around Europe. And I'm very excited to have you on today. And I know our listeners will be very intrigued by everything that you have to say, as will I. So let's get straight into it. You're a trilingual voiceover artist. So you're working in 3 different languages. What are those 3 languages that you work in, Machteld?
Well, I'm Dutch. I'm born from Dutch parents. So I work in native Dutch. I was born in France and raised partly in France, so my French is native as well. And then when I was 13, we moved to London, to Wimbledon, but I attended the French school, but that's where my English comes from. So that's not native, but it's called kind of near native or international. And I work in 2 accents because people want this kind of accent, the British. And I've been taking extensive coaching to work on a more international English, which people perceive here as being more towards transatlantic or American, or that's most of the English spoken here. So they perceive British as being, I don't know, more posh or aloof, and but it's the English that I kind of learned as a teenager. So it's more my comfort English than the other accent.
Nice. Yeah, you have a very impressive English accent. I was surprised when you said you were from the Netherlands. And you, where are you living in Holland? What city are you in?
I'm in Amsterdam, near the Museumplein. I'm looking out on the Rijksmuseum. Amazing. And it's a wonderful area to live in. Yeah.
I went there many years ago, actually. I went on a road trip with a friend of mine, an old university friend, and we drove through Amsterdam, actually, and we went to Belgium and various other places.
Right.
I loved Amsterdam. I probably wouldn't have chosen to drive through Amsterdam, which is what we did. And that was a little bit of a challenge, but should have cycled or walked. I don't think I've been to any city in the world where pedestrians and cyclists have more right of way than cars. It was very bizarre. And I live in Sweden, so that's kind of, we're edging in that direction, but it's still not quite the same. But it's a beautiful.
The distances in Sweden are bigger, I think. I mean, here everything is so near to each other that I walk everywhere or cycle everywhere, and I'm probably going to get rid of my car soon. So yeah.
Does everyone have electric bikes over in Amsterdam at the moment, or?
Yeah, many people. I have one because I'm lazy. And even school kids, if they have long commutes from to and from school, they have electric bikes as well. So in the countryside, there are lots of electric bikes, and they're all saying, "Oh, they're out of stock," and everybody wants an electric bike, but it's great. I mean, it just you can go further, and it's really practical.
I have one myself, I must admit. It's pretty cool. It's a lot of fun. Anyway, we're not here to talk about electric bikes, but it's interesting to know all the same. So you've been voicing for how many years now? You're incredibly experienced. I've had a look at some of your work, and it's impressive. You've done a lot, and it's amazing.
Yes. Well, I started by accident in 1994. But then back then I was a copywriter in an ad agency, so I was writing the copy and hiring a lot of voiceovers. So I was directing voiceovers for a long time already. And the reason I started by accident is because the voiceover I hired didn't show up. And this was, back in the last century when there wasn't even mobile phones or anything. So I couldn't reach the voice, and she wasn't home, and her agent didn't know where she was. So I imitated her. It was for a diaper commercial. And I presented it to the client, and the client said, "Yeah, that's fine." I said, "Okay, we still have to record it with the voiceover." And they said, "Well, she sounds fine." I said, "No, that's me doing her." "Oh, that's fine." So
Amazing.
That was the start of my career. Of course, I think that was one gig in 1 year, and then I had 2 the next year, and then 3, and it kind of grew. And I think only about 7 years ago did I give up my copywriting work as well. I combined it for a long time.
Okay.
And I think about 7 years ago, I went full-time voiceover.
You could be forgiven for thinking the maritime industry is a woman's world. We refer to ships as she. They are named by lady sponsors. They sail upon a sea often thought of as a mother. But let's be honest, the maritime world may still seem a male-dominated one, and that's a shame. We want to work with the most talented, hard-working people, qualities that do not recognize the boundaries of gender. Already we are inspired by the work of our female colleagues, and we know there must be more like them. So if we want to be the best at what we do, we need to be open to everyone. The next time we look at a ship, let's not only think of her, but of all the women who play such a role in building her.
Right.
So
What is, for anyone that doesn't understand or know, what is copywriting, to be a copywriter, and what are the requirements for that?
Copywriter is being one of the creatives in an ad agency. I think now there isn't such a difference anymore between an art director and a copywriter, but we used to work, still, I think one still does. You work in a team as a copywriter and an art director, and you dream up all the ads and all the, in my time, there were newspaper ads, magazine ads, radio commercials, TV commercials. And then what I liked most actually was making the stuff. So really going on shoots and going to the sound studio, going to the editors, color grading, and then seeing your mostly compromise ad on television or in the newspapers, and writing the copy. I mean, for magazine or newspaper ads, is just, writing all the stuff. And I think copywriters nowadays, that they're more about headlines and content. But I did brochures. I did, at the end, I did websites. I did everything. So you have to read into the stuff and then write it. And I think in becoming a voiceover, because I'd written so much copy for the voiceovers, for the voice actors to pronounce, I knew exactly what I wanted every time. And I think that really helped me become the voiceover that I am, because I understand, I have a really clear text understanding of what, what is meant, or what needs to be put across in the text.
What was the reason for stopping that side of things? Because it sounds like you were very good at what you did, and was it just that the voiceover sort of took over, and it was too much to have everything going at the same time, or what was the transition?
Actually, the transition came quite suddenly, because it was, my income was kind of 50-50 at the end. But I enjoyed doing voiceovers much more than I enjoyed doing copywriting, which I'd been doing for more than 30 years. And at the time, the home studio, the home recordings were really growing exponentially. So I thought, okay, if ever I want to take the plunge, I need to do it now. And one big client, kind of fired me or went to a cheaper solution. So I thought, okay, I'm not going to do any more acquisition on the copywriting side. I'm putting my pen down and I'm really going for the voiceover work. And it was scary in the beginning because all these years in the studios, I had all these voice actors coming in, and usually there were, at the time, theater actors or television actors, and they'd always say, oh, I haven't got enough work, and do you have more work for me? Because doing voiceovers was really contributing a big part to their income. And so I thought, oh, you can never make a living from being a voiceover. But I think, and the Netherlands is a small market, of course, but the home studio and the development and web videos and everything going online has really made the business booming. It hasn't been a wrong decision, and I'm so happy that I can say no to copywriting requests.
Oh, that's cool. That's cool.
Yeah.
The future of retail is getting more visible every day. As a leader in technology and innovation, Samsung sees new opportunities to connect with the hearts of our customers and make them experience the power of all Samsung high-end products. Come and visit us in one of our new experience stores. It's a total experience that demonstrates how a smart home enables you to get the most out of your life.
When did you actually move to Amsterdam? How long have you been living there for now?
I moved to the Netherlands in 81 and I moved to Amsterdam in 1985. So I've been here the longest. Yeah. I wanted to root somewhere, because in France I wasn't French, in England I wasn't English, and when I came here I wasn't Dutch. I'm a true European, but I wanted a sense of belonging somewhere, and Amsterdam just fulfilled that.
Do you see yourself living there for the long term, or do you have plans to? Yeah.
I'm moving next year to a new area in Amsterdam.
Okay.
But I'm definitely staying in Amsterdam. Yes.
Okay.
Yeah.
And voicing you voiced in 3 languages. Have you voiced in other countries as well?
Well, I've voiced for other countries, but now, of course, with all the remote recording and everything, it's very boring. But I record here for the States, for France, for Belgium, for Australia, for all the countries, even Finland and all the European countries. But I don't go anywhere.
Yeah.
Yes. When I was a copywriter, when we had a French voice, we had to record for a Belgian commercial or something. I would take the train, go to Brussels or to Paris, and just for a day for one recording. And that was really fun. Or the voice would come to Amsterdam, the French voice, and come on a Friday, bring his wife, and take the weekend. And no, but that's all gone now with Source Connect and with all the and I can record in high quality here. So
sure.
For
those that know absolutely nothing about the voiceover world, and certainly voicing from home, can you give us like examples of the requirements for actually doing that, for voicing from home, the responsibility behind it, what you have to look after? I imagine you're having to take care of all aspects of the industry, so the voicing, editing sides of it, the invoicing elements, communicating with clients, all that sort of thing. Is that the case? Or can you give us a little...
actually, when people say, oh, I'd love to be voiceover, first you have to be an entrepreneur. I mean, you have to, it's your business, and the voice part of it is just a very small, very important, but very small part of it, because like any business person, you have to be on time, you have to train for what you do, you have to invest in equipment, in knowledge, you have to be civil, you have to be kind to clients, you have to know how to deal with rejection, lots of rejection, and celebrate the success, and basically you also have to be able to deal with insecurity, because like today, this is a Monday. I know I have one job booked at 2:00, and that's it. The rest of the week, just, jobs come in, and one day I might have 2 jobs, and the other day I might have 10, or I might have a huge commercial in a week. I mean, I do have projects every day, but when you start out, it might be one a month, and then you get really insecure. You think, oh God, nobody wants me and I can't do this. So you have, if you want to do this, you have to be in there for the long run, and don't give up your day job in the beginning, because it's not, not everyone can make a living from just talking into a microphone. And then, as I said, the home studio, I used to go only to studios, which is great because the sound engineers are really great people. They have good coffee, and it's such fun. It's really such fun. And we have, I don't know, about 20 sound studios here in Amsterdam, and some in the rest of the country. And it's, it's always a great outing. And when the home studio came, I mean, you need a whole new set of skills, because you need to direct yourself. Now also we have directed sessions like this with Zoom, but most of the time you have to direct yourself. So you have to think, okay, what is this text for? Who am I talking to? Do I need a lot of smile in it, or do I need to be really businesslike? So all those things, I mean, to me now they're innate. It comes naturally, and I still get it wrong sometimes. Sometimes clients say, no, not at all what we're looking for. And so you need to get a good briefing and everything.
How did you actually learn how did you manage to get a grasp of all these things that you've mentioned? Did it come through your past experience as a copywriter? Did you learn lots of it through that, or have you actually done courses and training courses in voiceover, in production, that sort of thing? Or
No, funnily enough, it came on the job. And I think being a copywriter, writing the copy has helped me tremendously, because I know what I wanted to convey when I was writing it. So I get that when I read a text that is given to me. Nowadays, there are, and also the directing of the voices. I mean, I dabbled in amateur theatre for years. So maybe that did something, but as a kid, I wanted to be an actress. And then my parents said, well, get a decent job first. I'm that generation. And copywriting wasn't their idea of a decent job. I mean, they meant, be an accountant or be that. But I did okay. They were proud in the end. But yes, I think the writing really helped me. I think the directing of voiceovers really helped me. And having worked as a copywriter in a kind of commercial industry, I knew what made clients tick, and I know what they want to convey, how they want to convey their message, and that really has helped me. Now there are, in the Netherlands at least, there are, I think, about 5 schools for voiceovers.
Oh, okay.
They're, from cheapish to quite expensive. And I think that lays a good basis for learning how to do voiceovers. But the real learning is on the job. It has always been on the job. And the funny thing is that I started I didn't go really, but taking part in voiceover conferences, and met a lot of people overseas, in America, in the UK. And I noticed that over there, it's all coaching workshops. So I participated at the beginning of the lockdown. I was in a workshop, I think 2 or 3 times a week with LA mostly. And it was just doing, commercial reads, TV promos, very focused on one genre, which I'm not working in, like TV promos. I don't do TV promos. No. But it was fun to do the reads. And I've been lucky because I've been so much in sound studios and have been directed so much by other copywriters and by voice directors. And that's, I think, why the workshop system is good, because people nowadays, they get their gear for a home studio and they think, oh, I'm all set. But then they never get any feedback or any direction. And you really need that to grow and to listen to yourself critically. I get, I'm not a coach, but I help young voices, especially here in the Netherlands. I'm part of a big Facebook group, and so I do get a lot of questions, and I think it's tremendously, it's easier to start nowadays as voiceover, but it's also more difficult because you don't have this face-to-face coaching and directing, which I used to have a lot.
Do you have a particular country that you work for more than others, like in the US or in Amsterdam?
No, I think the Netherlands is my biggest market.
Denk je dat artificial intelligence nog toekomstmuziek is? AI is er al, overal om je heen. Denk aan het aanvullen van je zoekopdracht in Google, hoe Siri je stem herkent of de persoonlijke aanbevelingen van Netflix of Spotify. Wist je dat we ook steeds meer AI gebruiken bij de Volksbank? Zodat we onze klanten echt leren kennen en beter kunnen helpen. Of om onze digitale kanalen persoonlijker te maken.
But language-wise, I do a lot of English work for the Netherlands because, of course, Dutch companies are very internationally orientated. So they'll want their web video, explainer video, e-learnings. They'll want that in English as well. Yeah. So I think language-wise, about 50% is in Dutch, and then I think 35% in English and 15% in French. I'm still growing my French market. Wow.
That's so cool.
And maybe now it's 40-40 with the English and the Dutch, but most, I think about where it comes from is 80% is from the Netherlands, and then 20% is from outside of the Netherlands. And that could be, I have Germany, Spain, Finland, Belgium, well, the States, the UK, Australia. It's crazy. And sometimes I think, how did you find me?
You must have a very good website or something. In fact, you do. I've checked out your website. It's super cool. I love it. I love how you can click all the different buttons on the radio and then it brings up different. That was a genius. Was that your idea? That was fantastic.
No, actually, it's funny because it was a barter deal with an agency I was working with, and I said, well, make my website and I'll do copywriting for you for the same amount. And I had this idea all in my head. I have these passport photos of myself from being a baby to until now. I collected them all, and I thought, okay, we'll do a website, and we'll put all those pictures, and behind every picture there will be a sound. There'll be a commercial or and I thought that was brilliant. So I gave them that as a briefing. Just build this. This is my idea. Build it. And I came back, and suddenly I was the client, and they came back with this radio, and I thought, where are my pictures? I don't see my, no, we didn't do the picture thing. No, we're going to do this. I said, but I wanted the pictures. And then, I really had to, I said, no, this is better. And actually it is. I mean, it's brilliant. And I've only changed the content once because it's very, very complicated to change them.
Yeah.
And I think I'm going to change them once again to because now I've got compilations and I've got a few examples on them. Well, for people who don't know, it's a radio and you can turn the knob and then you'll hear me voicing different things. So it's more of a showcase of what I can do. And it still works. But one of the things I really wanted was just one page. No clicking through. I hate that. I just want a website. For me, it's like, okay, I want the information at one glance. I can scan it. That's it. And very often, these websites, you have to click about 5 times before you can hear a demo, and there's so much text. I'm not interested in. I mean, I've casted a lot of voices, and sometimes I still do. I'm just bored with all the text. What's with the text? I don't care where you come from. I don't care what you've done. I don't care if you've got a dog or a cat. I just want to hear your voice, and I want to listen if it's applicable to the job I might have for you.
Yeah.
And if there's too much,
No, I think I need to go and have a look at my website now.
Simple. Keep it simple. I mean, maybe it's just me. Maybe I'm just a very lazy browser. But
no, but I think it makes sense, right? People don't. I mean, some people are really into the text and the blogging and all that sort of stuff. That was quite. I think that's where it all came from initially, was people blogging their life stories. But now everyone does that through Instagram or something like that. So it's. I think on a website, it's a good point to make it as easy as possible for someone just to get to. The reason they've come on your site is to hear what you can do and what what your voice sounds like. And it's a good point.
And this website was made before I had any notion of SEOs or being found, or I never did Google ads. And still very often I get, how did you find me? Oh, through a website.
Okay, so have you faced any major challenges during maybe in the early days when you were setting up in voiceover? Any particular stories like where things have just gone disastrously wrong? And off the back of that, how did you overcome that? How have you learnt from it? And how has it developed you into the person that you are now?
Well, my biggest challenge to this day are the techniques,
right?
The technical aspect of it, because I'm a spoiled brat. I always have a guy at the knobs and doing everything for me, and suddenly I think a radio station. It was just a short commute to Hilversum, but he said, "Oh, you can do this at home." So then I went to my favorite sound studio and I said, "Okay, how do I do this? What do I buy?" So they made me buy a microphone and an interface and Pro Tools and God. And I had to do something for Philips, and it was just a 40-second text, and I didn't realize I did it in my closet because I thought that would be good, but there was reverb everywhere, and I think it took me about 3 hours to get a decent recording of 40 seconds, and I sent it in, and immediately I got word back, and he said, "Well, it's not loud." Okay. So I said, "Well, put the volume up." No. It was recorded to, it's not loud enough. I can't do anything with it. So panic. So I went to my sound studio again and said, "What did I do wrong?" So he said, "Well, show me the microphone." So I showed him the microphone and said, "How did you record?" And I said, "Well, like this." He said, "That's the back of the microphone." I said, "I'm not doing this anymore." So that was my first experience. And I just threw the whole thing away. Then a radio station said, "Okay, start easy. Start, the area you're in needs to be really quiet. It needs to have no, dead sound.
Yeah.
So I said, okay, yeah, my son's got a bunk bed. So I went under the bunk bed with all the pillows and cushions and everything and duvet. And he said, take your iPad, buy Twisted Wave, that's an app, buy an Apogee microphone, start there. So that's how I started, actually. And I did that for I think about 2 years or something. And that went well. But, being under that bunk bed, I was kind of recording like this. It wasn't very, very nice. And then my son said, okay, you go out of my room, find somewhere else. So I isolated a corridor and got a better microphone, did it with my laptop, and still Twisted Wave. I mean, I've really tried to learn Logic. I've tried to learn Pro Tools. It's just not going to work. So I'm sticking with Twisted Wave, and I'm not doing, because I'm not processing, I'm not doing major editing. I feel other people are good at that. I will never be good at that. So I can take all the courses I want. I can watch all the tutorials I want. And there are many tutorials. But I'll always be a bad sound engineer. So I'm, whenever a client wants, something processed, I call in the troops and they do it for me and I pay them. And I calculate that in the total price. But I'm not doing that. And I know many voices, when they start out, they really learn the technique of editing, of processing. That's fine. And if you really get the hang of it, that's great that you can do that. But I have recording techniques where, especially for books, I hardly breathe audibly. So you can hardly hear me breathe. So the editing for the guy or the woman doing the editing is like, it's done. It's really fast. So yeah, my technical part has improved. I mean, I'm now very, very good with what I do. And from the corridor, last year, I promoted myself to a booth. So I had a booth made, and that's been a game changer, really, because the upstairs neighbor can run her washing machine and her dryer whenever she wants. The kids from the third floor can run up the stairs and down the stairs. I don't hear them anymore. I mean, unless there's a power drill right in front of my window, okay, then I have to take a break. But otherwise, I can go there day and night, and it's bliss. It's bliss, and it's something I should have invested in a long time ago. But it's a big investment. So you think, should I do this? I also had the problem that I couldn't get one of those standard booths because they're too heavy for my 1911 apartment. So I had one custom built, which was only 450 kilos instead of the 1,500 kilos.
Did you have a particular design for the studio in mind, or was it just like, this is my building, this is the space?
Yeah,
make it happen.
I have very limited space. Where I'm going to live, I'll have more space. So I think maybe in time I'll get a bigger one. This one is like 1.80 meters by 1. So it's long, but it's wonderful. I mean, compared to where I come from, the only thing, it's in my bedroom because that's the only place where I had the space. So I have the shortest work commute ever.
You literally roll out of bed. Amazing.
Yes. I make money in my PJs, as Paul Strickwood wrote a book about that, making money in your PJs in the voiceover.
I think a lot of people have been doing that over the last year, haven't they? Beauty of a Zoom call, everyone's got pajama trousers on, and then they throw on a shirt on top to look presentable.
That's right.
That's not what I'm doing, by the way. I actually have normal trousers on today.
Good.
Good. All right. So
The technical side is still daunting, but
yeah, it is difficult, and I myself am not hugely tech savvy, or I wasn't. I did do a fair bit of research and behind it, because I'm obviously making videos and things like that. And before doing this podcast, interviewing and chatting with people, I was delivering audiobook stories, and then I wanted to make it a bit more visual, a bit more visually stimulating for YouTube. So then I created like an animated version of myself, and this, that, and the other. But I had no idea how to do any of this. But it's what I wanted to do. And then I just, YouTube was that. And as you say, there are hundreds of tutorials. You have to find the ones that work for you. So you've got to sort of scour through quite a few. But it is incredible, some of the information you can attain through that. But anyway, good. So I really want to get one of your studios. That sounds very cool. And I think I would deliberately put it in my bedroom so that I could just roll out and work in my pajamas. Sounds amazing. Anyway, so can you give me this wasn't actually one of the questions I sent to you, but a monumental life moment or a life achievement. It could be work related, it could be not work related. So it could be that you went traveling to a particular place or tried a particular food, or I don't know, you climbed Mount Kilimanjaro, or whatever it is.
Oh gosh, I've got so many.
It can be two. You can give me two if you want.
Yeah. Well, one of the recent ones, which I'm really proud of, and which wasn't on my bucket list, is that one of my commercials for HelloFresh is being broadcast in the UK.
Oh.
Yeah. So, and that, I thought I'm not a native speaker, so I never envisaged that one of my that my voice would be on UK television. And this year also my voice was on American television, because I dubbed a French documentary, and I dubbed the mayor of Paris, and I had to do it in this accent. And I thought, oh, please let me do my English accent, because I'm much more comfortable with that. No, that's fine. That's fine. We love your accent. I thought, well, you don't want a French accent with it, because maybe it might be, no. And I was, one of the only ones. It was through.
I enjoyed all of that, by the way.
But so that was kind of, things I never would have dreamed of, which happened. Those are work related, and the other one is I started singing French chansons about I think 7 years ago now, and 3 years ago in March I won le Grand Prix du Concours de la Chanson here in the Netherlands. So it's a competition. It's a competition for French chansons.
Okay.
Organized by the Alliance Française, so the French club, and promoting French language and culture in all countries. And I'd never won a competition or anything, so this was wow. Amazing. And the singing actually just started as a hobby, and also as a way of connecting with my French roots. And it's really grown out of proportion. I've done quite a lot of gigs. At one point I had about 35 gigs a year. Wow. And I mean, they're all small venues.
Was that all in French, or?
Yeah, all in French.
Yeah.
Yes. Okay. Yeah. Sometimes I had to put in some Dutch or English songs, but most of my repertoire is French. And I made a CD, and so that's really been an amazing experience to win that. And
Has your voiceover complemented your voiceover career, and what you've learned through that? Has that complemented your singing, and vice versa, or?
Absolutely, because for me I'd always sung, in choirs, in church choirs, in the shower. But then at one point, and a colleague said to me, because I said, for my 50th birthday, I really want to sing Barbara, that was a singer I really admired, and he said, well, you have to start again and take lessons and really develop your voice and work at it. And I'm always lazy, I think, oh, I can do that. So then I started taking these really technical singing lessons, which were very boring, but very, very good. And actually, the technique that I learned from the singing, and I hate practicing and I hate doing all those exercises and everything, but it helped me so much, warming up my voice. If I have a voice problem, I know how to solve it with exercise. They always say the vocal cords are muscles, and you have to train them like any muscle. And so those lessons have really, really helped my voiceover side of using my voice as well. So, I'm careful with my voice. I obviously now I don't go to loud parties or anything, but I know my voice is fragile. So in crowds or at concerts, I shouldn't speak, because if I talk for an hour to someone next to me like this, the next day it'll be gone. So I know what I can do. I've got much more control over my voice since I've taken up the singing. So yes, it has really helped me both ways, really. Yeah. And in the singing, the voice-over text comprehension and text interpretation has also helped me with the singing, because especially in French, the chansons are really stories you tell. So you have to convey the story,
evoke emotion, and
so it does help both ways, absolutely.
C'était au temps où Bruxelles chantait, c'était au temps du cinéma muet, c'était au temps où Bruxelles rêvait, c'était au temps où Bruxelles bruxelait, place de Brucker, on voyait les vitrines avec les hommes, les femmes en crinoline. Place de Brucker, on voyait l'omnibus avec les femmes, les messieurs en gibus. Et sur l'impériale, le cœur dans les étoiles. Que la montagne est belle, comment peut-on s'imaginer en voyant un vol d'hirondelles que l'automne vient d'arriver? C'est un beau roman, c'est une belle histoire, c'est une romance d'aujourd'hui. Il montait chez lui là-haut dans le brouillard, elle descendait vers le midi. Ils se sont dit: quand reviendras-tu? Dis, au moins le sais-tu, que tout le temps qui passe ne se rattrape guère, que tout le temps perdu ne se rattrape plus. La place rouge était vide, devant moi marchait Nathalie. Il avait un joli nom, mon guide, Nathalie. Bien sûr, nous avons la Seine, et puis notre bois de Vincennes. Et Dieu que les roses sont belles à Göttingen, à Göttingen. Nous avons nos matins blêmes et l'ombre grise de Verlaine. C'est la mélancolie même à Göttingen, à Göttingen. Je vais draguer en vélo, maintenant je suis parisienne, je me surmène et je connais la détresse et le cafard et le stress. Enfin à l'écologie, je m'initie et loin de la pollution, je vais tondre mes moutons et loin de la pollution, je vais tondre mes moutons et loin de la pollution, je vais tondre mes moutons, mes moutons, mes moutons, mes moutons.
And I would recommend any beginning voiceovers to also take singing lessons on the side, if only for the technique of using your voice.
Yeah, I started doing some singing, not singing lessons, but I'm on a Facebook group, a singing Facebook group, and there's the lady on there that I started following her through YouTube because she's one of those. There's quite a few of these now, but singing experts that review musicals or something like that. And they're, look at the way she's singing here and how she's opening up her mouth and doing all this. And I watched Hamilton, I think it was for the first time at Christmas. And I sort of, like many millions of people, became a bit obsessed with it. And absolutely love that show. Because I'm a bit into hip hop as well. So for me, it was just a dream. Musicals and hip hop together. I was like, wow. So I started watching her through that. And then she has a Facebook group and she trains people online and she does classes and this, that, and the other. So I did a bit of that. And I found that you're right. It was really, really helpful for any other, not specifically voiceover, but any job where you need to use your voice quite a lot. Yes. Teaching, presenting, coaching.
Presenting yourself with, the voice has so many aspects.
It also is very good for the your self-esteem and your morale and things like that. I think there's some science behind this, that it releases endorphins in the body. Like, so if you sing quite regularly, you feel much happier. Similarly to if you listen to music that you like, you get a similar sort of vibe. But I think more so with singing. And I felt that, like, I sung for maybe 10 minutes a day, which is not a lot, but it just puts you in a positive frame of mind for the day ahead, which is good. All right, we're going to jump to a game because we are flying on time. We've already been talking for 50 minutes. Can you believe it?
Oh, God.
So we're going to play Would You Rather. I'm going to ask you 5 questions. They're a little bit wacky, so, don't worry about it too much. But first thing that comes to mind, are you ready to go to play Would You Rather? All right. Number 1. Would you rather find your true love or a suitcase with $5 million inside?
Yeah, that's a tricky one.
Yeah, money or love?
I think I'd go for the money. I'm very happy with myself.
Yeah, good. Fair enough. No, I mean, $5 million. That's.
Oh my God, what I can do with that, and the true love will obviously come with the $5 million. I mean,
yeah, most likely. All right, number 2. Would you rather not be able to see any colors or have mild but constant tinnitus ringing in the ears? For anyone that doesn't know what that means.
That's a no-brainer. Skip the colors. I mean, I would not want tinnitus, not even in a mild way.
Number 3, would you rather live without hot water for showers and baths or live without a washing machine?
I think I'd live without a washing machine. Okay. Because, our ancestors did.
Yeah, that's very true. All right, number 4. Would you rather be locked in a room that is constantly dark for a week or a room that is constantly bright for a week?
I think I'd choose the dark room.
Interesting.
Yeah, because that would give me more rest.
Yes.
I used to love to go into, as a kid, I would lock myself up in closets and stuff. So I think I'm the dark side. Yeah. I think that the light would just drive me crazy, and the dark, you can go into yourself and I think you get much more strength. I mean, you'd miss out on the vitamin D, obviously, but no, I think definitely the dark.
Okay. This question was spawned by me living in Sweden, by the way, where during the summer, in the northern parts, it's light all the time. And then in the winter, it's dark all the time. But I don't live in the north, so it's okay. It's not quite as extreme as that.
But you get these lights as well to give you more daylight, don't you? Lots of suites have that, don't they?
Yes. Yeah. I mean, a lot of candles everywhere. They're really big on candles here in the winter. They love a candle in Sweden. And maybe in Holland, I'm not really sure. Is it big in Holland? Candles through the winter?
Yeah.
You know, like if you look into someone's house, all the windows are covered with candles and lights and this, that, and the other.
Oh, okay. Yeah.
But,
No, well, maybe not that much. Yeah.
no.
No, it's just
Anyway, right. I think we're on number 5. Is that right? Yes. Number 5. Last but not least, would you rather be fluent in all languages and never be able to travel, or be able to travel anywhere for a year, but never be able to learn a word of a different language?
Well, I've already got 3.5 languages because I've got a half of German. So I'd rather travel and not learn another language. I mean, I wanted to learn Japanese and Italian and Spanish, but I've been so spoiled learning those languages, the languages that I have as a child, and really without any effort, that I can't imagine learning a language from scratch.
That's what I'm trying to do at the moment.
With the Swedish.
I'm trying to be better at Swedish, but yeah, it's difficult because Swedes and Dutch speak such good English that the minute they find out you're from England, it's like you've got no chance. Straight into English. I'm like, please, I'm trying to practice my Swedish.
Yeah.
Anywho, that's my issue. I will resolve it one way or another. Good. So we're going to end with Machteld's final thoughts for the episode. Something uplifting and positive for our listeners. It can be approaches to life, dealing with positive and negative change, that sort of thing, in the light of everything that's happened over the last year or two. Yeah.
I think kindness and gratefulness are my key words, that you have to be kind to yourself and to others, and grateful for what you can do, and not moan about what you can't do. We're so blessed and privileged the way we live, and especially in this whole lockdown, working from home. I was already working from home, so I didn't have any switch to make, and I noticed a lot of people around me are having a really hard time with it, and also with all the the things they can't do. And so I think find the patience in yourself to accept what you can't change, and embrace all the good that is given to you and that you have, and build on that. Yeah.
Great. Wonderful way to end the episode. Thank you so much for joining us today. It's been a pleasure.
Thank you, Warren. Yes.
I hope you've enjoyed it. Yeah, no, absolutely.
Wat wij leuk vinden aan marketingcommunicatieprofessionals?
Op de computer, digibord, tablet en smartphone vind je duizenden quizzen, games en filmpjes in alle vakken van de basisschool.
Voor iedereen die lekker wil blijven eten en toch afvallen.
Many insurers need to implement the new IFRS 9 and IFRS 17 standards. La ville de Tours a lancé en 2016 le projet du nouveau parcours Lumière.
These 10 students will show you what it's really like to study at the Willem de Kooning Academy.
Ziek zijn en een opname in het ziekenhuis kunnen ervoor zorgen dat u minder eetlust heeft.
Nederland gaat van het aardgas af. Dit heeft impact op hoe wij wonen, hoe wij koken en hoe wij verwarmen. So that we can help to advance life all over the world. Geïnteresseerd of jouw huis een e-home kan worden?
Yes, tik hem aan! Opgroeien doe je samen met Blueband.